One second, let me go live. Okay, we are live now. So this is one beautiful sutta which explains all the four things. That is, how a normal person will behave, and what are his attributes, or what does he do. Meaning, when we go out, when we go into the supermarket or to the roads or wherever, or we are in the car, when we're driving and we're going somewhere, or we are walking, or whatever we are doing, what does the person do? It's a beautiful thing to watch all 24 at once. This is the thing what this sutta gives you, Mūlapariyāyasutta. And then now I am a follower of the Buddha. So it would tell me, why should I believe in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha? So the second one, called Sekka, learner. So the idea of not meeting on Wednesday is that you get chance to look at the sutta and try for yourself on what is your feeling. What did you feel about when we say that I'm a Sotapanna, let's say, and I believe I'm a Sotapanna. So when I see Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, then Deva, Bhuta, Deva, then Prajapati, Brahma, and all that, what is my feeling? What comes into my mind? And that will tell me whether I'm able to move forward. Okay, so what does a Sotapanna feel? Sotapanna knows that there is something called Patavi. Why? Because we have gone through the 20 attributes of a Patavi, from hair, Kesa, Loma, and all that, what we did. So hair, body hair, and then the skin, the teeth, nails, flesh, etc. And the Sekka knows Apo, so he knows anything that is liquid. But does that is known by a normal person? No. He will recognize the person to be a person. He believes as a person, and he believes this is my so-and-so. And that doesn't mean that Sotapanna will not. Sotapanna knows that this is 32 parts of the body, but he's attached to the 32 parts of the body. So he knows that he's attached to 32 parts of the body. So in the first case, a normal person, the person doesn't know. And in the second case, the Sekka, who is a Sotapanna, knows that he's attached, but he's not able to escape from that attachment. But he knows, or she knows, that, oh, I am attached to 32 parts of the body. So he knows what is Asubha Sanya. He knows it's Anicca. He knows it is Dukkha. He knows it is Anatta. He knows it is Asubha, the Sotapanna. But he, at that moment, cannot let go of it. So in the same way, Nibbana. So let's say I experience the cessation of moha, wherein I'm able to penetrate into the anicca nature, or the dukkha nature, or anatta nature. Like one day what Richard was explaining, that he experienced anatta completely. It's a beautiful state to be in. So when you are in that state, you get attached to Nibbana, because now you are in search of Nibbana. That means I want to be back in that state, which again creates a barrier. So a Sotapanna can get into this barrier of all the 24. So it's good to watch. If you can watch it all the day long, it's a beauty. And then I'll come to know myself, oh, I am a Sotapanna. I have not grown beyond Sotapanna. It's very vivid, very clear, very easy to comprehend. We can take any one of them. You can take Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, or whatever, out of 24. We don't have to go to all the 24, but he says Moola is the root. So all the 24 has the same root, that is Raga, Dvesha, Moha, or Lobha, Dvesha, Moha. So this is what somebody has. So now what happens when a person is Sakadagami? Something extraordinary happens on the same subject, that he knows or she knows that it cannot be possessed. The same aspect of the Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, all that. The person knows that there is no way he can possess. How does he know that there is no way he can possess? He comes to know, or she comes to know, that they cannot possess just by standing in front of the mirror. He can observe that the body has changed from a small infant to a 70-year-old or a 60-year-old or a 50-year-old or 40, 30, 20, whatever that age is. Or he can take a photograph, or she can take a photograph of hers or his and watch the face currently and just observe. Where is the Patavi here? It's gone. That Patavi is not there. So how can I possibly say this is my face or my body or whatever it is? When it starts reflecting, then he finds that there's no way he can possess. And when he cannot possess, the same thing he can do with his wife or husband or children or whatever it is. And then a peace dawns on that person. Again gets into Nibbana, the same Nibbana of Anatta. Because he ultimately end up in Anatta. So when we look at it, is that you will exactly end up in Anatta, where you cannot say this is mine, this thing is mine, this body is mine, or this hair is mine, or this thing is mine, and that goes away. So the difference between Sotapanna and a Sakadagami here is that the Sotapanna knows the 32 parts of the body, but the Sakadagami knows something more than just that, is that that person does not possess. He doesn't call it as mine. So in the sutta, what Buddha talks about as a Sekka is that let him not claim as mine. Okay, this is for all the three. That is Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami. Now let us say I am a Sakadagami. What is my behavior? For that we have to compare with Sotapanna. What's the behavior? Sotapanna behavior is no different than the normal person, except that the person understands Buddha Dhamma. And he will not do any bad deeds knowing it, because he knows that there's something called as apaya, danger. So he will not do anything which will cause him to go to the apayas. In the normal person, there is always a tendency to do something about the apayas, whereas the Sotapanna wouldn't do it. And another beautiful thing about the Sotapanna is that he knows there are 10 immoral deeds, and the normal person might or might not know, may change or may not change. So let's say a normal person on the road, and there is a traffic jam, and then he wants to go ahead, and then he honks. He keeps on honking, and then the other person is irritated, and then he will shout at him, why are you honking? You can see that there is a traffic. So if he's a normal person, he'll go for a fight. Sotapanna wouldn't do that. That's the difference. He wouldn't do it because he knows the consequence of that. That doesn't mean that every person on the road is going to do the same thing. No. So the normal person might do, might not do, but a Sotapanna will 100% do it. That's the difference. Now what happens when there is a Sakadagami? He will just enjoy whatever is happening because there's nothing to possess. There is no road he is possessing. There is no car he is possessing. There is nothing he is possessing. So his face looks extremely peaceful. Okay, so when we see, now we are today 5 of us, right? So when we see ourselves, what is the feeling we get when we see all 5 of us? If you're feeling very tired or boring or something or irritated or whatever, we know that we are a normal person. If we are also feeling not okay, but still we can manage, know the Buddha Dhamma, and we can apply it in the sense of anicca, dukkha, anatta, asubha, or paticca samutpada, or something what is learned by a normal person who has come into the stream. And that's the reason it's called a stream enterer. He is entered into the stream of Buddha Dhamma. Now that will take him towards the Arahat. Okay, so the difference here is that this person, normal person, is, when you see his face, you know he's irritated or he's happy or he's unhappy. There's all kind of emotions. Whereas in Sotapanna, emotions are there, but it is not too predominant or too vivid. But he's peaceful, looks peaceful. He's able to understand. Sakadagami is even more better because he doesn't claim Patavi is mine, Apo is mine. So how do we claim Patavi is mine, Apo is mine? So let's take a beautiful example. Now I'm jogging or I'm walking. When I'm walking, what do I call? I'm sweating. But is it really I'm sweating or the sweat is coming? Actually, sweat is coming. It's not that I am sweating. A normal person will say I'm sweating, whereas a Sotapanna knows that how the sweat is coming, whereas the Sakadagami will not make the sweat is mine. He will not claim it or cling to it. Now what happens if there is no clinging to that feeling of sweat or ice cream or this or that or whatever we do in our daily life? Is that there is a reduction of raga and reduction of the dvesha and reduction of the moha. All the three will get reduced because he is able to penetrate into the anatta nature. So when a person knows how to penetrate into anatta nature, the Kamaraga, Patigga, two things which are there, or Kamachanda and Vyapada, however we can put it, out of the 5 of the fetters, the 3 has gone as a Sotapanna. In these 2, there is no possession. So he feels at peace. Sweat is coming. Yeah, it's coming because of environment, not because he's sweating. Or he's feeling chilled, cold. Because the weather is cold, he's feeling cold. Or he's walking and hence sweating. Whatever it is. And he's, the body, the 5 elements have reduced and hence there is hunger. It's not that he is hungry. So he knows that he is speaking, but in reality, none of that he is. So he stops claiming. And that helps in reaching anagami state, wherein the Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, then the Bhuta, Deva, Brahma, Prajapati, Brahma, and all the 4 other Brahmas and all of that, including the infinite space and infinite consciousness, nothingness, and neither perception nor non-perception, will look like a stream, just like a stream going. It's somebody will not get attached to the stream. So when he doesn't or she doesn't attach to the stream, the raga and dvesha, they both will not appear. They don't make anything whatsoever. So when this kamachanda and vyapada is not there, then he doesn't take as mine. He just leaves it as it is, completely. So what then happens here is that then he is released from the womb existence. Why? Because sensual desire has to be there, and that completely is eliminated. So there's no way he can come into the sensual desire, and hence Sekka, learning, is completed. So this we can watch as a Sotapanna. When I am eating, when I am sleeping, when I am sitting, when I am standing, when I am talking. So whatever Iriyapabbam which is there in the Satipatthana Sutta can be seen very clearly by everyone. So the objective of this Majjhima Nikaya 1 is to see within ourselves. Even after hearing to the Buddha Dhamma, how is my mind? First thing, acknowledging it. Okay, this is how my mind is. And my mind presently is relishing Pathvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. So 4 elements it is enjoying. Okay, good. It's in the sensual realm. If it is in the sensual realm, am I able to see that in the sensual realm? Yes. So I'm a Sotapanna because I'm able to recognize where the mind is. Now, one thing I can 100% promise for myself is that I'm not going to kill my mother. I'm not going to kill my father. I'm not going to harm the Sangha, or I'm not going to harm the Buddha, and I'm not going to kill the Buddha. 5 things. That doesn't mean that I'll not get agitated. Yes, I will. That doesn't mean that I don't feel like possessing. I will. That doesn't mean that I don't feel like enjoying sensuality. I will. But it doesn't have so much of strength to push me into the apaya. That means I'm attached to the 5 elements. I'm attached to all the experiences what Buddha explains about. And I feel I am the one who is experiencing it, even though he says that don't do that. But I still do it. So I am getting into parinyayam, to know. So I can completely understand it. So I start as a Sotapanna, get into the aspect of non-possessing because I can see my own photograph of my childhood and now, or even 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago, 4 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and all that. It's very easy. I can find out. Even if the video is there, forget the photograph, video is there. I can watch the video. 20 years ago, one video. Like in my case, 23 years ago, this body got married with another body. So when I watch the video, it's quite obvious that person over there had hairs on his head. This person doesn't have any hairs on his head. Simple. And that person at that point in time was slightly fat. And this person sitting here is lean. And that person sitting there had a different kind of mustache. This person sitting here has a different kind of mustache. Okay, so whole thing is, and then the ideas. That person sitting there at that point in time in the marriage had a different ideas and different views of life and different ambitions and different way of living. And this person who is right now here has a different ideas and different objectives and different ways of living, and he is totally different. So he can absolutely see through his own insight that that person is different and this person is different. So there is no point in holding on to it that it is me who got married and this is me sitting here. It's a memory. But if you see the body and observe, if you see the mind, the thoughts at that point in time and the thoughts now, they don't sync up well. They don't really have the same exact sense. So the Dhamma and the Mano are anatta. Because the mind which is holding the Dhamma is different. The situation was different, so it was holding on to that. Situation got changed. This person's mind got changed to what it is today. So now he can see all the aspects from 1 to 24 and he can make out, oh, this is what I was and this is what I am. I'm just saying this is I, but in really there is no I. So he gets into the anatta immediately. So he says that this person who is a Sekka, he is creating a supreme sanctuary. Why? Because he knows now that even though at that snapshot, whenever that video or photograph was taken, seemed to be he or she, but now 20 years later, it's not the same person. So he doesn't identify. Manya. Manya means to take it, to make it something than what it is there. Ma manni. Ma means not. Manni means take it, consider, or make it as something. Now when I watch that photograph or the video, there's no need for me to do it. But a Sotapanna will still do it to a limited degree and he remembers, oh, this is not right. But as a Sakadagami can observe at that instance. So the practice here is a photograph or a video. And when this sutta was written, at that time there was no photograph or video, so they had to do it through their mind. Now it is very easy. We can take the video, we can take our photograph and watch and keep on doing that. If we were to spend something like 1 or 2 hours on this, you'll immediately get in a stage of anatta. And you can, at that moment, be in Nibbana. Absolute Nibbana. You will penetrate into Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, Asubha, all the 4, and you are in Nibbana. At that time, the Raga, Dvesha, Moha are gone, because Moha doesn't seem to get into the Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, whereas Amoha, that root, gets into Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. The moment Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta is seen, the dukkha is penetrated, and the dukkha penetration is the first noble truth, and you will come to know how this dukkha is happening, which is the second noble truth, and then you will come to know how to break that dukkha, which is ending of craving, and you will come to know the fourth noble truth from sammaditthi to samma vimukti. It's a straightforward thing, and you understand. So when I go on the road, I need to have sati, kaye kayanupassi viharati, and then vedanasu vedananupassi viharati, chitte chittanupassi viharati, dhammesu dhammanupassi viharati. These four, if I practice when I'm on the road or sitting, standing, brushing teeth, taking bath, wearing dress, reading something, watching videos, whatever I'm doing, if I'm able to do this, what happens? Another beautiful situation happens here. The beautiful situation here is immediately the dvesha goes away. Now the moha went away. The second one which is going to go away is the dvesha. So when the dvesha goes away, then there is nothing raga can do. That is, the lustful desire can do. You will find peace most of the time, except for I am holding on to the Buddha Dhamma, which is a hindrance by itself, because I am not letting it go also. And there are other things which I am not letting it go, not only this, but now I can establish myself into the Rupa Jhanas. I can establish at any time into the Arupa Jhanas, and I am having a nice time, a comfortable time with Anapanasati. Anapanasati Sutta of MN1 we can again go through it on Monday, and you can see the change. If you observe, if you practice the Majjhima Nikaya 1 Mūlapariyāyasutta, and you go to MN1 Majjhima Nikaya 118, which is Anapanasati Sutta, you will have a fabulous experience. And at that moment you can reach the state of Anagami. So this Anagami is not going to have Kamachanda and Vyapada. These two wouldn't be there. So now we can clearly see that parinya, to know, is not there in a normal person, whereas the parinya is, that is to know, to understand, is there in a Sekka. Now, having understood it, what happens? He will start getting karuna, compassion, on those people who don't know. That doesn't mean that he's going to go and teach them, but he feels, he genuinely feels that how stupid is this people who believe that all of this is I am, when there is no I am there at all. It's so peaceful without I am. So why don't I still more develop it? And once he starts doing that, he gets into the, from Sekka to perfection. That means Anagami and beyond. That is, he has reached Anagami level, but now he is going to the beyond. Asavas are ending. How does one come to know the asavas are ending? Kamasava, Bhavasava, Avijjasava, Dittyasava, 4 asavas. How are they ending? He can see that there is no fire, there is no fuel to the fire. The fuel is the sensuality, that is not there. The fuel is anger, frustration, agitation, all of that. That is also not there. The fuel is the delusion that Nitya, that is, instead of Anicca, Nitya, instead of Dukkha, it is Sukha, Instead of anatta, it is atta. Instead of asubha, it is subha. That means he doesn't see arising and passing away, just like we don't see arising and passing away. A normal person, even if he has studied science, he knows the earth is turning. But what's the feeling? Does he feel that earth is moving? No. When he sees somebody, can he not recognize himself when he's standing in the mirror? And also, when he's seeing somebody, can he not recognize that person and say that, oh, he is my brother or sister or mother, father, or wife, husband, neighbor, this city, that city? Yes, he does. Which is a delusion. It doesn't mean that for transaction we should not. We should. But really you don't feel it. You're just using it as a transaction. So Buddha uses one word in Mūlapariyāyasutta Sutta as adhivachana sampassa. Adhivachana means language and comprehension. Vachana means to speak, to say. Adhivachana means using a language to express something. So in the passa contact, there are two contacts. One is adhivachana sampassa, which is through language and comprehension, using grammar and all that. Just like we say first person, the second person, and the third person. That is how we define a language, a grammar, so that we can communicate with people. Patigha sampassa, that is when it strikes. So when an object comes to the sense door, immediately I can see, wow, that is Richard, because I have heard his name. And I start to believe him to be my friend, or I start to believe him to be my enemy, or I start to believe him as my neighbor, or this one and that one. This is the patigha sampassa. So a normal person, out of ignorance, he would have these two. Whereas a Sekka coming into Anagami level would know it's only for transaction, but is holding on to the Dhamma as possession. And also he can now get into the jhanas. Now he is into udacha, which is the restlessness. And he still has avidya. Avidya is the not knowing the Four Noble Truths completely. Something is amiss there. But when it comes to the person who has completely removed the defilements of kamasava, bhavasava, to become something, ditthiyasava, that is the views, and avidya is ended, and he has completed the journey and done what has to be done. What does he do? What's the difference between a Sekka and an Arahat? If we take Anagami, he is still clinging on to Nibbana, still clinging on to the Arupa jhanas. Whereas a person who is an Arahat is in Parinyatam. He has completed it. There's nothing which is missing. So he directly knows. The Sekka knows it conceptually. Sotapanna develops the ability to know it directly to a greater extent as a Sakadagami. Has experienced directly in the case of Anagami, but here he lives in that state forever. Not by situations, forever. So if he is going to do that for all 24 of them, Now they don't identify. They don't identify even Nibbana, that I am in Nibbana. So when it doesn't exist in any form, even the subtlest of the form, they know for sure the raga is gone. Khaya ragassa vitaragatta. That means it's completely erased. Whereas in the Sekka, it is still there. Anagami still enjoys the fruits of Nibbana, the fruit of the 4 Arupajanas. Whereas this Arahat doesn't do that. Not only that, he doesn't have any hatred anyway. Anagami never had hatredness of this guy. This person would not have hate. And then Anagami never had a delusion. So this person also doesn't have delusion. So the only difference between Anagami and Arahat is the raga. So he has Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Udacha, Asmimana, Avidya. The 5 fetters as Anagami. Whereas all the 5 fetters are removed. This is what is about Arahat. Now we look into the fully awakened Buddha. Now why does it do it? What's the difference now? Well, in the case of the Buddha or Tathagatha, there's no, the paramis are there, the perfection. So there are no imperfections. So in the case, he need not be taught that earth is earth, or Patavi is Patavi, solidity is solidity, liquidity is liquidity, and all that. Don't take it as yours. From the beginning itself, he knows that it is not his. And just like what an Arahat learns, the Buddha doesn't have to learn. It is self-revealing. It reveals by itself. He discovers it. He discovers that entire thing completely because he has the necessary parami, necessary foundation. Whereas in the case of the Sekka and Arahat, when he has reached Arahat Palasamapatti, it had to be taught to him. It was never made available. Why? The defilements were there, had to be removed. Whereas in the Buddha, no defilements existed. He has cleared it out himself because the necessary foundation is there. The necessary environment is created because of his own parami. So he knows everything. So when he knows that, he knows it, then he knows the 2 things, cause and effect. And since he doesn't identify with anything, he is not in any dukkha. The root of suffering and the root of rebirth and the root how it gets into the old age and death is completely seen with open eyes, awakened. And when it is awakened, the person has, the Buddha or the Tathagatha knows that it is ended, it is faded away, it is cessation. So he knows Sabbasavo, Tannanam, Khaya, Viraga, Nirodha, Chago, Patinisaggo, anuttaram samma sambodhim abhi sambuddhoti vadami. That means to say that the Tathagata can see the ending, can see the fading away, can see the cessation, can see the giving up, letting go of all cravings, and has awakened to the supreme perfect awakening. Because he knows everything. So he has removed the rebirth, continued existence, and all of that. And hence he cannot come back. So the question has always been asked in various sutta: does Tathagata exist after death, or Tathagata will not exist after death? Will Tathagata will be reborn, or Tathagata will not be reborn? Will Tathagata get extinguished, or Tathagata doesn't get extinguished? So there's a lot of questions which are there in Brahmajala-sutta, Digha Nikaya. That is a sutta called Brahmajala-sutta. 62 wrong views. In that it talks about Tathagata also. So that is answered here in the Mūlapariyāyasutta. That is not that whether Tathagata will exist or doesn't exist. It's not that Tathagata will be reborn or not reborn. There are no conditions which can make Tathagata to do anything, including extinguishment. So you can't say anything at all, because there is no condition at all. It's completely unconditioned. There's not even a trace of condition. Now, what is the difference between Arahat and a Tathagata? In this, Arahat had to be explained about unconditioning, whereas the Tathagata already knows how to uncondition. So the consciousness never gets a chance to get back into any realm of existence. Same thing happens with Arahat, that it doesn't. But in the case of Anagami, the Sekka, it gets established itself in the purest form, which the Mahayana calls it as pure land, and it is also called as Shuddhavasa. And in the Theravada tradition, Anagami has a special place where they will be reborn. What happens to the Sakadagami? The Sakadagamis will have to take one bhava again. That is, they'll again come back to the human world and extinguish from there once. And what happens to Sotapanna? He takes maximum 7 bhava, 7 becomings of the same kind, and gets exhausted. So the karma gets exhausted in 7, here it's in 1, there it is in only at the place outside the womb, and in the Arhat nothing else exists. So what's our practice then? The practice has to be 32 parts of the body. Whenever we see something, like I'm seeing my own face at present on the video. When I say my own, it's the language. But am I seeing my own? No, I'm seeing the 32 parts of the body. This is the practice I need to do. As long as I see it is myself, as long as I can see this is my body, I'm still a Sotapanna. I have not gone beyond Sotapanna, because I still believe I am this body. This is my body. Let me try to safeguard this body, which means possession. I want to possess. So since the body cannot be possessed, the consciousness will again take another body to develop. So the jati pi dukkha, jara pi dukkha, vyadi pi dukkha, all that will come to existence. Now if I want to be a Sakadagami, or I want to reach Sakadagami, this possession orientation has to be removed. So using Patavi, Apo, Vayu, Tejo, or Bhuta, Deva, Brahma, Prajapati, Brahma, or whatever I want to take, or all the 24 of them, if I want to do it. Absolutely fair, because that's the maximum you can get. It includes all, Sabbam. And also it has Nanatta, which means diverse. It has oneness, diversity, all Nibbana, all of them. So if I get a feeling that I am having Nibbana, where does it stand now? It stands at Sakadagami. No, it stands at Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami. It is going here and there. In Anagami also it is there. In Sakadagami also it is there. In Sotapanna it is very much there, because I want to achieve Nibbana. So the moment I start fighting to get Nibbana, it becomes even more far, because the mind is agitated. So that restlessness is there. So the restlessness carries itself till the Arahat Phala, that is fruits of Arahat. So just like Ananda was a Sotapanna even while Buddha was alive, and then after Buddha went away, he was still a Sotapanna. Then Mahakassapa wanted him to do the Sutta Nipata. That means narrating all the Sutta, because Ananda was the only person who could narrate the Suttas. Now the time came for him to do it, but he was not an Arhat. This was meant only for the Arhat. Then instead of putting in more effort, he just relaxed. And he didn't take anything at all. And immediately he reached from Sotapanna to Sakadagami to Anagami to Arahat. So if I were to practice, or if we all were to practice, from the time we get up from the bed till the time we go to the bed, we can observe this phenomenon happening in our breath. And when we go and brush our teeth, is it my teeth? Just a question, is it my teeth? If it is my teeth, should I have to brush all the time? Because then there is no need. Because it is not my teeth, and the bacteria would accumulate into the mouth, I need to brush the teeth. If it is in my control, obviously I didn't have to brush the teeth. If the hair was in my control, I would have ensured that this hair doesn't fall, or it doesn't turn gray, or my body doesn't turn fat or lean or whatever. So that means, say that it's anatta. So I don't possess anything. So from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, both the times, entire day, if I am working out on anicca, dukkha, anatta, asubha, with these 24, whichever that is, depending upon my liking, I can take the 4 elements, I can take this, I can take that, I can take all 24, whichever, whatever it is. We can get into the completion of the journey. This is one brilliant sutta which can be done by anyone, and he can verify. The beauty of this is verification. We don't require anybody to certify and say that you are a normal worldling or a normal person, you are a Sotapanna, you are a Sakadagami, you are Anagami, you are Arahat. It's not required. Absolutely doesn't make sense. What makes sense is what Buddha says in the sutta. And he gives all of them, including himself. So he talks about all the 4 of them. One normal person, one trainee, one Arahat, one Tathagatha. If we can read this, understand, comprehend, again reread, again understand, and look at what is that I am right now. Am I able to understand? am I able to comprehend? If I'm able to comprehend 100%, I'm beyond a Sotapanna. Meaning, when I say comprehend, it means that if I read, I'm able to get it. If I'm not able to get it at all, let's say, that means I am far from being a Sotapanna. I need to work it out. Yes, I'm able to understand. Now, am I able to practice? Yes, to a limited extent, I'm able to practice. Okay, still a Sotapanna. Now, I'm able to practice to a good extent and Sakadagami. I have ended the Kamaraga and Patigha, or I have ended the Kamachanda and Vyapada. Wow, beautiful. Anagami. No, I don't have any possession of anything at all. I don't have anything to do with anything. There's no raga. I'm not getting into raga. I'm not getting into dvesha. I'm not getting moha. I don't get anything at all. I just see everything as the same. Arahat. It's quite obvious, quite straightforward. Then we don't require any other sutta for till the practice is over. Then how to validate? For validation, we can go and after wherever we are, we can go and look at Mahanidana Sutta. We can read it for ourselves without anybody's help. Meaning, without a person like me doing a discourse, you will be able to understand everything in that sutta, and you will be able to experience whatever is there in the sutta. Then you can certify yourself that you have come to the stage of anagami. You are able to stay in that state. That means there is no kamachanda, there is no vyapada. Your mind is very clear. So there's nothing which is holding on. Now if I am able to work out on the Mahanidana Sutta completely along with this MN1 with Mahanidana Sutta, that is in Digha Nikaya, this is Majjhima Nikaya, able to work out both of them, Arahat is guaranteed. How can I revalidate about Arahat? Satipatthana Sutta. Again Digha Nikaya, Satipatthana Sutta. If I am able to stay completely in that, 7 Bhujjanga factors can be verified. So we get Sati Sambhojjanga, Dhamma Vishaya Sambhojjanga, then Virya Sambhojjanga, Piti Sambhojjanga, Pasiddhi Sambhojjanga, Samadhi Sambhojjanga, Upekka Sambhojjanga. All can be verified. So with this verification, if we do Anapana Sati ourselves, MN118, you can again revalidate. So you have 4 levels of revalidation. One is this sutta, DN1. Second one is this is MN1, that is Digha Nikaya Mahanidana Sutta. Then the third one we can see in the Satipatthana Sutta, where we can revalidate. And then we can again revalidate using the Anapana Sati Sutta. The 7 Bhujjanga factors are there in the Satipatthana Sutta, and the 7 Bhujjanga Buddha explains through the mindfulness of breathing. Satipatthana, Anapana Sati Sutta, MN118. So 4 suttas is that we require to be conversant about, to really validate 4 times whether I have reached the place, whether I have done Sotapanna, or whether I have reached Sotapanna, whether I have reached Sakadagami, whether I have reached Anagami, whether I have reached Arahat. Without doubt, it is so clear that we don't have to go and ask anyone, hey, tell me whether I have reached. No, not required. Okay, so that's all I had for today. Any questions, any suggestions, or any sharing of your experience will be great. Otherwise, we can end. Preeti ji, go ahead.
Actual meaning of Tathagata, I want to know.
Tathagatha. Tatha is, it's very difficult in English. So, Tata Agata. Agata means one who has crossed over. Okay. In the Indian languages, it's very easy. Agata is to pass, move. Tata is here. From here is past. Okay, now what we can infer from this Tathagata word is that Buddha talks about two bhava called as Itta bhava, Anyatta bhava. What it really means is that we can apply this in every life, everyday life. You should brush your teeth, else this problem will happen. You should read for the examination, else that is going to happen. If you have to eat this, because else that is going to happen. So all these else are Anyatta bhava. Ittha bhava is this. You have to do this. You have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to do all of this, so that will not happen. What will not happen? Just like now it is COVID. So if you take care of your mask and gloves and whatever we can say, social distancing and all that, you will not get COVID. That means Anyatta bhava. Else that is going to happen. If you don't do this, that is going to happen. Ittha bhava, Anyatta bhava. What if somebody has removed the bhava itself? You will not have Ittha bhava and Anyatta bhava. And that person is called as Tathagata, who has removed the becoming to become something. In our case, there is bhava, that is to become. Else that is going to become that. If I don't do this, that is going to happen. So if I don't take care, I will land up in hospital. So fearing the hospital, I will do this. So moving away from that is Tathagata. Okay, good. Malti ji, hope you got an answer to whatever you had read 3 times about this. Malti ji, your video and audio both are on mute.
See, with your discussion, without which I had argued, I understood the application which I was not able to do reading the suttas.
Okay, no problem. But with this explanation, where did you get a clarity?
Sir, I want to know about 7 bhujangas.
7 bhujanga. Okay, you want to make a note? Say Sati Sambhujanga. Sati means remembrance. Okay, then you have the what is that?
Dhamma Vichaya.
Dhamma Vichaya. That is investigating the Dhamma. Any Dhamma, if you take, you will be able to investigate. That is the second one. Then Virya Sambhojanga. Virya means energy. So you will get energy. Then the fourth one is Piti Sambhojanga. Piti means joy. Fifth one is Siddhi Sambhojanga, which means that your mind remains tranquil, peaceful, calm. Samadhi Sambhojanga. You will remain in that state. Upekha Sambhojanga, you are in equanimity. So you can verify. So what I'm trying to say is that through this sutta, you can verify the 7 Bhujanga. So what you need to do is, I'll give you an example to all of you. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow is a free day until we meet on Monday. Take any sutta, short, small, whatever it is, right? So just open. Anyway, you can refer it in your own language. The suttacentral.net has given all the languages. So if you select Marathi, or you select Swiss, or you select Hindi, or whichever language, the Pali text will come in that language and English translation is going to remain. Okay. What you need to do, listen to this carefully. What you need to do is, before you read the English translation, go through that Pali words. Don't put too much effort. Just read it. So let's say I will tell you what I do so that you can understand what I really do. So now I go to the starting. Okay, what it says, Evam me sutam. Sutta is to hear. Evam me, this I have heard. It is in, if I were to translate to English, and English is also there. So when you read it in Marathi script, or in Swiss script, or this script or that script, you try to question what is, just close your eyes. Evam me sutam. What does it bring to you? And then refer the English if you are not able to pick it up. I am 100% sure you will pick it up. Ekam samayam bhagava ukkathayam viharati subhagamane salaraja mule. So now this I read. What I need to do is pause. Don't read the next line. Pause. At one time, eka samayam, Bhagava, Buddha, Ukkattayam, that is a place, Viharati, staying, Subhagamane, Salaraja Mule. Subhaga is a place, a forest or something like that. So his Salaraja Mule means Raja Mule, Mula is the root. So he is sitting somewhere over there. Now you have to now observe what he would be doing. You'll really feel something happening with you. Okay, that shows that at what level you are in. You are in Sotapanna level, or a Sakadagami level, or a Anagami level, or whichever level that is. Now what would happen if this is read by an Arahat? He just scrolls down and ends. What happens if it is an Anagami? He will understand without any explanation. What if it is a Sakadagami? He will have to refer little bit. What if it is a Sotapanna? He requires translation and then he can understand. What happens to a normal person? He requires deep explanation. So accordingly, they have made Diga Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, and all those Kuddaka Nikaya and all those Nikayas. Because it's meant for, let us say I read, I don't understand anything. So I require a Diga Nikaya. So I require a big one. I cannot go by Anguttara Nikaya because Anga Uttara, that is to the finger level or to the any Anga. So I take this shoulder length. That means it's numbered. So this is one shoulder length and numbered discourses. That means a little bit is sufficient. He understands. Samyukta Nikaya. So depending upon the mentality of the person, we spoke about it. So Monday we can again do that. But for the 2 days, just observe. Take time. Read whichever sutta. I am not saying that you should read this root of all things. Read whatever sutta. I have given you a list of sutta. Do it on your own. Just relax, observe, see for yourself what happens. Then your mind is becoming tranquil, means pasiddhi. So you know pasiddhi sambhojjanga is happening. Then you're feeling joy. The moment you know the meaning, you feel joy. Wow, got it. So piti sambhojjanga is happening. Then you put enough energy now. Now you are energetic. So your face is beaming with energy. So you know virya sambhojjanga is happening. Then Dhamma Vichaya Sambhojjanga. That means any Dhamma topic, now you are able to instantly pick it up. So Dhamma Vichaya Sambhojjanga is happening. Then you are in Satipatthana already. So you know Kaya, all that. Then because all of this is working, your mind doesn't go anywhere. So you are in Samadhi Sambhojjanga. And at that time, whatever happens in life, you are in Upekha. Simple. So this way, if we work it out, you will automatically get success. You don't require anyone. The Buddha teaching is there in this entire Sutta Nipata. So you can just go through that, and the problem is in the translation. Okay, no problem. Some here and there, some English words and all that, some difference. Fine, ignore it. But you can put the Pali word in your language and see what do you get out of it. That you can do.
In this sutta, the first four things, earth, water, and that those four things, that can be referred as a body, no?
Yes, that's the reason he has. That is the reason he has put. That's the reason I told you also. A normal person doesn't take that. A Sotapanna knows that it is 32 parts of the body.
Yes.
Okay, Sotapanna knows it, but a normal person doesn't know. A Sakadagami goes beyond that. He doesn't possess his hairs, body hair, skin, nail.
Then we can also say Sakkaya Ditti.
Sakkaya Ditti is already ended. No, not Sakkaya Ditti in the term.
First type of people.
No, the Sakkaya Ditti is ended in understanding the Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana. So when the person is called as I, the person knows that, a Sotapanna knows that it is the five aggregates, not a person.
No, in first one, Ashuddha one, that is in Sakkaya Ditti.
Correct. So in here, he talks about, he'll understand the 32 parts of the body. And then going forward, he doesn't possess. Going forward, he neither has the Kamachanda and Vyapada at all. So then we know that for the four elements, the person is not attached. So if there is no attachment, it doesn't establish anywhere. If there is no establishment of anywhere, he is released. And he knows that he is released, which is Arahat. So in this way, we can practice. Okay, so we'll meet on Monday then.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Namo Buddhaya. May you all enjoy Nibbanic peace today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and we meet up on Monday.
Sure, sir.
Namo Buddhaya.